Welcome to this explainer. Okay, so we've all been there, right? You're reading an entire page of a book, you finally get to the bottom, and you realize you have absolutely no idea what you just read. Well, today we are going to completely upgrade how your brain processes information using the SmartMind OS framework. If you've ever felt like the information you consume just goes in one ear and right out the other, you are definitely in the right place. We're looking at a system designed by learning innovator Dani Abdulatif, and it fundamentally shifts how we interact with knowledge. We aren't just going to learn how to read better today. We are going to learn how to build entire living realities right inside our minds.
Let's kick things off by asking a pretty tough question about that universal frustration of forgetting what you literally just read. Do you actually understand what you're reading, or are you just recognizing words? I mean, it sounds simple, but it targets a massive flaw in how most of us were taught to learn. We've kind of been trained to equate running our eyes over sentences with actual comprehension. But, just recognizing symbols, letters, and grammar, that's totally surface-level processing. If you finish a paragraph and all you're left with is an echo of the words rather than a clear mental picture, you haven't actually understood it yet.
And what's super fascinating about this framework is how its creator, Dani Abdulatif, redefines true understanding, or PAHAM as it's called in the original framework. Think of it not as a mental filing cabinet of facts, but more like a virtual reality simulator inside your head. He defines understanding not as memorization, but as building a living model. True understanding means you've successfully formed an accurate reality representation of whatever it is you're learning, using your imagination, your ability to visualize, and your brain's internal simulation. So the ultimate target here, it's not knowing words, it's having the ability to make the reality of that object completely present in your mind, exactly as it is in the real world.
So, here is our roadmap for today's explainer. We're going to cover 1. The illusion of reading. 2. The 3 layers of depth. 3. The SmartMind engines. 4. The pencil simulation. And 5. The 8 indicators of understanding.
All right, Section 1, the illusion of reading, where we'll see why language is really just a container.
Think about the true flow of information for a second. Language is literally just the delivery vehicle, transporting a reality from the author's mind directly into yours. It all starts with Step 1, a real object or concept. Then, Step 2, the author encodes that reality into language. Next is Step 3, where your brain processes those words. And finally, Step 4, the ultimate goal. A brand new mental reality is formed in your head. But, and here is the absolutely critical part, if you stop at Step 3 and just process the words, you're left holding an empty container. Reading isn't about recognizing words, it's about reverse engineering the author's language to reconstruct the reality they originally intended to share. The more accurate your mental representation, the higher your level of understanding.
Moving right along to Section 2, the 3 layers of depth, or digging closer to true reality.
So the whole point here is that you absolutely must push past Level 1 and Level 2 to reach Level 3, because that is where deep understanding actually happens. At Level 1, your focus is entirely on the symbols of language, right? You know the definitions, you know the grammar. The output here is just really basic language comprehension. Then you go a bit deeper to Level 2, focusing on ideas. This is where you find the main concepts, the supporting arguments, the cause and effect relationships. So the output is idea comprehension. But here is where the magic happens. Level 3, reality representation. This is where you literally stop reading and start seeing. You build a mental model so incredibly vivid that you practically experience the object in your mind.
Remember, your job isn't to just read the sentences, but to extract the underlying framework and build that model. Think of a paragraph as a blueprint. It has a main idea that serves as the foundation, and then supporting ideas that act as the walls and the roof. Together, they form a complete framework for a reality representation. Every single paragraph you encounter is actively trying to build a specific model in your mind. So next time you read a dense article, don't read it like a novel. Approach it like an architect looking at a blueprint. Honestly, your comprehension is going to skyrocket when you realize you're constructing a building, not just scanning a bunch of text.
Okay, Section 3, the SmartMind engines. This is your brain's internal cognitive assembly line.
Let's map out this cognitive assembly line and explore the core software that makes all this transformation possible. First up, we have the Idea Scanner Pro. Its whole function is to scan the text, identify the vital words, map out the main and supporting concepts, and actually validate those relationships. Like validating means stopping and asking, wait, does this supporting detail actually prove the main point? Its final output is a clear structural idea map. Next, that map gets handed off to the reality creator. And this engine is just fascinating. It takes those abstract ideas and converts them into visual mental simulations. It builds the 3D model and tests its consistency, giving you an accurate reality representation in your mind's eye. Finally, the heart immerser takes over. This engine connects the mental model to your own internal experiences. It basically asks your brain, why do I care about this? How does this impact my life? It bridges the gap between cold logic and personal meaning. The result of these three engines firing on all cylinders? A living, meaningful understanding that actually sticks with you permanently.
Which brings us perfectly to Section 4, the pencil simulation, where we ground the abstract right into reality.
To really grasp how that reality creator engine works, let's run a highly relatable, quick simulation. When you see the word, you don't just read the letters P-E-N-C-I-L. Your brain instantly pulls up the physical memory of holding and writing with one. As Abdul-Latif explains, the word pencil itself isn't a pencil, it's just a trigger. When your reality creator engine receives the word pencil, it doesn't just spell it out, it pulls up the physical memory. The smell of the cedar wood, the slightly dull graphite, maybe even the chew marks on the end of a yellow number 2 pencil from some stressful math test back in the day, right? It simulates all of this internally in a fraction of a second, entirely based on your past experiences.
Just look at the comparison here. Merely recognizing symbols is flat, it's lifeless, and it's practically guaranteed to be forgotten by tomorrow. But simulating reality? That is robust. It's multidimensional. You are mentally simulating the weight, the texture, and the physical act of writing. You have to translate abstract data into a rich simulated world. And this is exactly what you need to be doing, not just for simple words like pencil, but for complex theories, historical events, or intricate data sets. By actively using your mental software, you transform dead text into a lived experience.
And finally, Section 5, the 8 indicators of understanding. Consider this your ultimate diagnostic checklist.
So how do we prove our mental software actually ran correctly? Well, think of these 8 indicators as warning lights on your brain's dashboard. Indicator 1, did you actually catch the core focus, or did you get distracted by the fluff? Indicator 2, do the supporting details logically connect to that core? Because if you can't see the connection, your Idea Scanner Pro has failed. Moving on, indicators 3 and 4 test your reality creator. Does your mental model actually match the real-world object? And can you close your eyes and vividly see the mechanics of it working? If your mental dashboard shows these 4 lights glowing green, your structural and visual processing engines are working perfectly.
Now for the advanced diagnostics. Indicator 5 checks your heart immerser. Does this knowledge feel relevant and alive, or is it just useless trivia? Indicator 6 focuses on meaning and coherence. Could you explain the entire concept logically without looking at your notes? Indicator 7 is the true test of mastery. Can you transfer this concept to solve a completely new problem in a totally different context? And finally, Indicator 8 is your metacognitive audit. It's the reflective ability to step back and honestly say, wait, is my mental model flawed? Do I need to rebuild it? When you can confidently check off all 8 of these indicators, you have achieved true, unshakable understanding.
So let's apply Indicator 8 right now to this very explainer. Think back on the cognitive assembly line we just talked about. Can you visualize the Idea Scanner Pro mapping out concepts, the reality creator simulating physical models, and the heart immerser grounding it all in your personal experience? If you can picture them working together right now, you've successfully bypassed the illusion of reading. So the next time you open a book or read a dense report, ask yourself, are you just collecting words, or are you ready to build a reality?